This is a demonstration on how to do the graph for the heat experiment, and one difference between this graph and the graph that you may have previously done is we've got 4 different experiments and we want to do show a line for each of the 4 different experiments. So I've made a table, I've put all my data in, also I've put labels for each set of data. So this is the beer beaker and all the temperatures for the beer beaker here, and then the beaker with the lid, beaker with the coaster, and the wrapped beaker. And just one note, if you've missed a bit of data here, say you were distracted and forgot to take a measurement, that's okay, you can just leave that cell blank, that will be fine. Now, I'm going to drag over all of our data, so we've got our time here in the left hand axis, and I've put time in minutes. You could also do in seconds if you want. I'm going to drag all the way across, and then insert chart. Now I'm going to choose the chart here, the scatter graph with no lines. We're going to add in the lines later. Our temperatures here are going all the way down to 0 degrees, which we don't actually need to show the temperature all the way to 0 degrees. We can adjust that. So if I click on the vertical axis here, so there's a box around it, then I go over to the right hand side, and there's an axis option button, and I go to the axis options, and I can adjust where my graph axis starts and stops. So at the moment its minimum value is 0 and maximum 60. Since my lowest temperature is 42, I'm going to choose my minimum temperature to be 40. And now you can see the graph's more spread out and it's a bit easier to see what's going on. Next I'm going to add in some titles, some axis titles. So go to the plus button, click axis titles. And on the left hand side, I'm going to call this temperature, and don't forget the units. I'm just going to type in the word degrees Celsius. And on this axis, time, and the units for that time there is minutes. So I'm going to type in MIN. Next I'm going to add in some trend lines, one trend line for each set of data. So up on the left I'm going to click add chart element. I'm going to go down to trend line. I'm just going to choose a linear trend line and series 1. And again for each series, series 2, 3, and 4. And for each of these series we want to give it a proper name, so I'm going to click on this option here which says select data, and for each one I'm going to click. So for series 1, see series 1 is the beer beaker, so I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to type in beer. Series 2 is the beaker with the lid, so I'm going to type in with lid. Series 3 is with coaster. And series 4 is wrapped. And last thing, second to last thing, I'm going to give it a title. And then I'm going to give this whole chart its own page. So I'll click plus. Right. So right click and click Move Chart, New Sheet. Then the chart will get a page all to itself. You might want to change those trend lines so they are a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to make that a solid line and increase the size to 2 points and continue that with all the trend lines. When it comes time to print, click File, Print, and if you print entire workbook, then that'll print out your data sheet as well as your graph. So it'd be good to include that data sheet as part of your report. Look for your nearest printer, which will probably be SciencePod 1 or 2. Hit the print button.